Bienvenidos from the Rio Grande Valley. Welcome to Pueblo News. I'm Ana Sanchez. We're so excited to be here tonight for the second episode of our weekly show. Pueblo News is a project of La Unión del Pueblo Entero. This show is to share with our members the latest news about the Rio Grande Valley. To get involved with Lupe, visit our website lupenet.org or send us a message on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Tonight on Pueblo News, we'll recap some of the most popular headlines of news and politics in Texas. Texas' third special legislative session of the year begins today. Among Governor Greg Abbott's priorities are redistricting, attacks against transgender students, and questioning vaccine mandates. Earlier this month, two new controversial laws went into effect. The new laws make Texas the most difficult state in the country to vote and place a near total abortion ban in the state. Organizations like Texas Civil Rights Project, Transgender Education Network of Texas, and dozens others have vowed to continue their year-long advocacy to protect the rights of Texans from the conservative governor's attacks. Over the weekend, images circulated on social media of thousands of mostly Black migrants from Haiti living under the international bridge in Del Rio, Texas. Instead of responding to this as a humanitarian crisis and offering help, the Biden administration outlined a plan to ignore the legal and human rights of the asylum seekers. The Department of Homeland Security said they will ramp up deportation and expulsion flights for the Haitian migrants in Del Rio. Advocates and lawmakers are calling on Biden to immediately halt these flights. The Haitian Bridge Alliance said the administration is cruelly removing people, including children under the age of 3, without offering them legal protection and the opportunity to file for asylum. Progressive lawmakers such as Representatives Ilhan Omar and Ayanna Presley joined the Haitian Bridge Alliance to demand an immediate halt to the Haitian deportations. To support Haitian Bridge Alliance, follow them on social media at Haitian Bridge or visit haitianbridge.org. On Saturday, dozens of people led by border advocates created a caravan to protest Governor Abbott's extreme conservative politics. The demands of the protests were to stop the extremist attacks on immigrants, border communities, Latinos, and people of color, rescind the disaster declaration on the border, prioritize fact-based COVID-19 mitigation efforts, the vaccine rollout, and community relief, fix the state's electrical grid to prevent devastating power outages, invest in housing for Texans experiencing homelessness and newcomers at our border, expand access to healthcare services that are inclusive of all Texans, promote a quality, historically accurate education for our children, preserve license to carry firearms in public, stop attacking democracy and work towards expanding voting access, not restricting it, and end the criminalization of poor people and people of color. Members of Lupe, Arise, and ACLU of Texas joined the caravan from the Valley to Austin. Here is some footage from the action this past weekend.
So we're going to be out in Austin. We're going to be joined by allies across the state. It will be led by our groups here in the Rio Grande Valley. It will be led by other border groups like Border Network for Human Rights in El Paso, coming together, and we're going to be joined by allies across the state joining hands with us in sending a message to Governor Greg Abbott that we will not stand by and watch while he attacks the immigrant community, that he injects white supremacy into the politics, where we live in a state where we have so many needs like Medicaid expansion, where more than a third of the people here in the Rio Grande Valley still don't count with health insurance, where we deal with the effects of climate change and floods every single year in our colonias, where we haven't fixed the electric grid, right? It wasn't really addressed in this session. And what was the focus instead? It was attacking immigrant communities for political purposes.
My name is Angelica Aviles and I'm from Hidalgo, Texas. I am supporting the caravan Juntos Together for Texas. We ask to stop the discrimination towards the border communities and make priority the needs for everyone equally. Join and raise the voice with us. United we make the strength. Juntos hacemos la fuerza.
Hi, my name is Hyunja Norman with the Uri Hunters. We are joining together Hunters Texas to fight back against white supremacy, racism, and the anti-immigrant agenda in Texas, because the governor continued to waste our tax dollars and scapegoat immigrants and communities of color through a series of racist anti-immigrant policies. I cannot stay silent because I am also an immigrant. We demand that governor prioritize the real need of Texans, not his re-election.
You're getting around anymore without.
Hi, my name is Karen Munoz. I work for Latino Justice, and I'm a criminal justice organizer. And I'm here today because what Abbott is doing with immigration is the same thing that he does with all of us, right? All crimes. It's criminalization. His answer to all of it is to put people in a cage and to deport them. That's always the answer. I'm wearing this shirt from 2017, right? The last time we were all here was even before that, right? But 2017, we were here fighting SB4, and we knew back then that wasn't going to be the last of his attacks. And we know now that if we don't stop this now, that's not going to be the last of his attacks. I want to speak a little bit too about when we went to Del Rio, Texas. A few of us went to Del Rio in late July, and it was the same day that Greg Abbott pushed an executive order forward that said that anybody with any migrant in their car would be committed of smuggling, would be charged with a smuggling charge. We got there and we saw maybe 50 asylum seekers, 50 refugees, 50 people just waiting to get in, and a lot of them were from Haiti, a lot of family from Venezuela, and the nonprofits down there were overwhelmed, and we knew back then that we needed two things. One, we needed Governor Abbott to stop his attacks, to stop sending police to the border as a solution, and we knew that we needed all government officials, like Julio said, right? We need the federal government, we need all of our elected officials at every level to stop Governor Abbott from doing this. He didn't stop then, and now there's about 12,000 people in Del Rio that are going to be sent back to Haiti just because our government doesn't have compassion for immigrants, right? And that's why we're here today.
In national immigration news, the Senate parliamentarian recommended that a pathway to citizenship cannot be included in the $3.5 trillion budget proposal. While this news is disappointing, it does not deter us. It does not mark the end of our national campaign for Congress to deliver a pathway to citizenship for millions this year. We remain confident in the power of our families and communities that this is our moment. We remain confident that Congress will follow the lead of our movement and leave no stone unturned. This is our year. We've waited for too many years for relief for our people, and we are prepared with alternative paths to ensure our plan moves forward. As we talk about this plan, we can't forget that the campaign is not for political points. Behind this campaign are the lives of millions of people who deserve dignity and relief. Here is a testimony from one of our members in the Rio Grande Valley who will benefit from a pathway to citizenship. She and her husband are farm workers. Please note these testimonies are in Spanish. A translated transcript will be posted on our website after the show.
Nosotros trabajamos en la labor. Una historia que hemos experimentado en la labor es de que cuando uno se lastima en la labor, y la labor es pesada, ¿verdad? Mi esposo se lastimó la cadera en la labor, estar agachado, así se amarra, ¿sabes? Y él se lastimó la cadera, y él al día siguiente ya no pudo ir a trabajar, y lo que pasó es que pues ya no pudo, y faltó más de una semana al trabajo, y el patrón que andábamos, él le dijo que si no se presentaba, que ya no iba a haber trabajo, porque él no quiere gente así. Cuando él ni se preocupó por darnos medicina o llevarnos al hospital, porque él se lastimó en el trabajo. Y pues lo que a él le importa es que saque su producción, y si uno se lastima, pues arréglatelas como puedas. Para poderte ganar $2.86, tienes que amarrar 100 manojos de cilantro, baile, etcétera. Pero tienes que amarrarte 100 manojos para poderte ganar $2.86. Los más lentos se hacen hasta 2 a 3 horas para hacerse esa cantidad. Y como yo, que tengo un poco más de experiencia, si al caso me hago 100 manojos cada 20 minutos. Por hora vengo ganando casi el mínimo. Yo tengo hijos que yo necesito la licencia de manejo, que es lo que yo creo que a todos nos necesitamos, porque en mi experiencia, si uno no trae licencia de manejo, no digo que todos los policías son racistas, no, algunos. Si tú no traes eso, te echan el migración y no les importa si tú vienes del trabajo o no, ellos te avientan por el motivo de que uno no trae licencia. Otra es de que si aquí el trabajo es por temporada y el trabajo empieza ahorita en septiembre y acaba por junio, por más tardar en junio, y de ahí ya no hay trabajo 4 meses en la labor, sí, porque viene siendo mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, sí, casi los 3 meses, y en esos, pues, ¿de dónde uno saca para solventar los gastos?
Tomorrow, September 21st, marks the day Congress returns from recess. Hundreds of progressive activists will gather in D.C. to welcome Congress back into session. In fact, 2 LUPIP representatives, including our co-host Daniel Diaz, are flying from Texas to D.C. today to join this day of action. Our demands are calling on legislators to deliver on their promises of immigration, climate, care, and more. Join us next week on Pueblo News for a recap of this National Day of Action in our nation's capital. To get involved with Lupe, visit our website, lupenet.org, or send us a message on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Thank you for being here with us tonight. I'm Ana Sanchez. From the Rio Grande Valley, this is Pueblo News. See you next week.